Thank you everyone for joining our webinar on Bpm'online versus Salesforce. Just to do a little introduction here, again, my name is Sonia from BrainCell. We've got Mike Rooney on the phone as well. Mike, are you there?
Hello, everybody.
Fantastic. We've got Alex from Bpm'online. Alex, are you there?
Hey, everyone.
Excellent. And Emilio Taylor from BrainCell, one of our Salesforce experts. Emilio, are you there?
I am here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Fantastic. So just a note before we get going, guys, if you didn't hear me in the beginning, there is a questions interface on GoToWebinar. So if you just open up that sidebar there, you'll be able to put questions into that questions box. We're going to hold all the questions most likely till the end here and address them at the end during the Q&A. We are going to go through a few slides. We're not going to kill you with PowerPoint here. We just have a few slides comparing the two products. We're going to be detailing the interface of each, how customizable they are, deployment options. We're going to actually have a live demo, and we've decided to concentrate a bit on business process management behind the two products. So we're going to have first Alex showing Bpm'online. He'll show the exact process. So this is what the BPM process looks like laid out in the Process Manager tool, which we'll talk about, and then he'll actually show the process that the end user steps through. We're going to hand it over to Emilio after that, and he'll take us through that same process in Salesforce. So a true apples-to-apples comparison here. And then we'll go over, why one product to the other if you happen to be looking to make a decision. And we'll also go after pricing at the end. So we'll compare 100 users, and we'll show the price comparison side to side, so you'll be able to see how they line up. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Michael Rooney from Bpm'online. Mike, you're going to get us going here with a little bit on CRM philosophy. So, gosh, not even as far back as 5 years ago, we were really talking about CRM being a contact manager and then adding on other solutions. So if you wouldn't mind talking through this slide a little bit, Mike, and then we'll get into some of the exact differences between these two products, that would be great. So take us through this journey. How have things changed?
Sure. Thanks, Sonia, and really appreciate being online here discussing this and introducing people to Bpm'online. Maybe if I could take 2 seconds, I'm sure most people are familiar with Salesforce, but let me fill you in a bit on Bpm'online. We are a global provider of process-driven CRM. We have offices across Europe and main U.S. headquarters here in Boston, where I'm sitting right now. Been in the business over 12 years, 6,000-something global clients, and again, really focused on the process-driven platform, end-to-end marketing automation, sales automation, and service automation. So we thought we'd frame up the environment a little bit per Sonia's comments there. Things have changed quite a bit, and one of the main things that's changed based on kind of a digital transformation is the number of channels that we communicate in, whether it's customer to client or employee or even parent to child, I guess. You have mobile, you have phone, you have the web, you have chat, certainly point of sale, you can actually talk to somebody still. But if you look at these lovely squiggly lines, what they represent is clients' interfaces with a company across the buying or customer journey, so the buying process. So from marketing, sales, and services, it covers the whole stream. And it can seem somewhat random from the outside. You may look at a product first on social media, then price compare on the web, then actually go into a store, and so your journey is going to fly in and out. The one expectation is, as a customer, that the company is receiving all those touch points, and regardless of what channel I use, my experience is going to be consistent, and thus is the challenge. So if you could click there to the next. Sonia?
Yep, there we go.
Thank you. So the point being, on the company side, you really need to have a systematic view regardless of the different channels that the people are communicating with. Being able to capture all those and systematically put them into, interconnected processes that are, fairly intelligent and predictive to move that item through, whether it's a lead to an opportunity, to a contract, all the way to customer service. So again, the customer journey from the outside tends to be omni-channel, mostly digital these days, and even social, and again can look somewhat random from the outside or the inside looking out. The reality is, again, we need to be able to capture this in a more systematic way. So it needs to be an intelligent, kind of self-adaptive, predictive process, regardless of the channel, regardless of what touch point those different customers give you across marketing, sales, and service. So omni-channel across the entire customer journey. Really just another view of it for some of our traditionalists that look at everything from a sales funnel, if you will. You know, a customer starts as a lead, and within that sub-process, you have lead generation, qualification, distribution. That customer gets qualified and moved into sales, and we see kind of our typical sales methodology here. Moving along in the same environment, they choose to purchase, they place an order, we have contracting, we have invoicing, and then of course they move along and become a customer, and we interface with them through customer service and sometimes loyalty programs as well. The ability to have this all captured in a single platform, a single environment, is very important so that you can capture all the different data points of that particular individual and leverage those as they become a customer.
We're going to go through a few actual product differences before we go into the slide demo. So let's pop up some the main points of Salesforce that we're going to be looking at today. That funnel of what Mike was talking about is handled within 3 different product offerings for Salesforce. Typically, you've got their Marketing Cloud, which grew through acquisition of Pardot and ExactTarget. What most people know about Salesforce is in the middle sector here in Sales Cloud. So that's the traditional, you know, $125 a user a month enterprise license that you get. That's the Sales Cloud here. So when we're talking about Salesforce, 9 times out of 10, we're talking about the middle sector. You're able to then add on advanced marketing on the left side and advanced service cloud on the right side. Brings in like fully functioning service desk and marketing automation capability. So again, 3 separate offerings that can be added on and purchased all together as a suite. And to carry through, at the end of this, we're going to be looking at pricing for all of these different options as well. So just to show a couple screenshots here, and we will go into the live demo and show this, but we get that little bit of Pardot or ExactTarget. You got your Sales Cloud. We have this new Lightning interface, which we're going to be showing today, and then Service Cloud, which is their help desk platform. So flipping over here to Bpm'online, Mike, if you wouldn't mind walking us through this.
Sure. So likewise, in Bpm'online, we cover marketing automation, sales automation, and service automation. Maybe one of the main differences here is it's truly a single platform. So if you have all 3 components, so we do sell it as separate pieces or a bundle, but let's say you have marketing and sales. When you generate a lead through you know, a marketing campaign, whether that's bulk email or social or a live event, those leads get scored and then qualified and handed off to sales. The handoff really is just a status change within the database because it's all a single platform and database. And so you see the different functionalities or features and functions that we've put in these different columns. They actually exist across the board, and a particular user will be given access to particular functionality. Being all on one platform, there's some certain benefits to that. One is that the process manager works across the entire platform, so you can hand off processes from one component to the other. We have a social media capability, chat function like that works no matter where you are within the system. We have data analytics and dashboards that, again, can pull data from, so let's say you're a service user, you can actually pull data from the marketing and sales side to display in your dashboards as well. So a single platform covering all those different components, priced either separately or as a bundle.
Great. And then we've got some beautiful screenshots as well.
So the one thing you will notice in these screenshots is being a single platform, it's a single interface, the navigation is all exactly the same, and so it makes it very intuitive if somebody's jumping from the sales side to the service side, maybe upselling and cross-selling within an account.
Awesome. All right, and deployment options. So I'll start off just a little bit on Salesforce. They're kind of synonymous with the cloud. Their logo says it all, and Salesforce has always been a cloud-only option. So that's your sign-in is on Salesforce.com. Just like logging into Facebook or Gmail, it's one place to sign in, and there you go. There's no option for on-premise, which some people prefer or need. So I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit, Mike. You've seen an uptick in on-prem, right? Which is interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. I think these days we think of everything as being moved to the cloud, and BPM'online certainly offers a cloud subscription model, but we do also have existing clients and can offer new clients on-premise. And, some of that harkens back to the concerns about security, whether it's HIPAA data or financial services data. And then, frankly, we've run into recently some smaller companies that already have invested infrastructure or have invested in infrastructure and, are looking to continue to leverage that. So having it in-house still makes sense for them. So we've actually seen that as a bit of a competitive advantage, which is a little bit counterintuitive.
Yeah. Well, what's old is new, right?
Definitely.
Sometimes. So this business process automation, I'm going to bring in Emilio Taylor, our BrainCell Salesforce expert here a little bit. Emilio, can you give us some color on the BPM engine in Salesforce and kind of when it's fairly new? Is that right? Like this intuitive thing that you're going to be showing today. So can you tell us a little bit about that and the bullet points here and when it came onto the scene?
Absolutely. So the tool that's you currently utilize now or been released is as Process Builder. Actually is kind of an upgrade to the existing workflow functionality or advanced workflow inside of Salesforce. So there has always been a workflow component in Enterprise, and there are always cases where you had to add additional code to account for other instances that workflow couldn't do. And so with Process Builder, it's intended to now create a full GUI interface for all of those occurrences of creating workflow that's much more robust than they had before in previous workflow. So inside of Process Builder, you're able to create additional conditions all within the GUI interface, both timed actions as well as immediate actions, as well as triggering additional processes, approval processes, and even emails to go out, notifications. So Process Builder itself is essentially an upgrade for that. And what we'll also be including in today's demo will be visual workflow, which actually is a user-driven process, which allows us to walk through a process as opposed to requiring a user to add data, scroll around, navigate on their own. Visual workflow guides the user to the next step. So every step that we promote through visual workflow, it takes the user from one step to another, and they really won't get lost in that process.
Cool.
So these are just a few tools that we'll focus on today.
Neat. And it's probably less clicks for them too,
Exactly.
I think. And I know just overall the problem with CRM forever has been that people don't use it. And if you guide the user through the steps and you set things up for them, then they're more likely to use it. So that's another just general comment on how great BPM and these engines have been for CRM tools in general. So Mike and Alex, or just Mike, can you walk us through the differences here with the BPM'online BPM tool?
Sure, just speaking to kind of these bullet points, but I think you could guess from our name that BPM was the original component of the vision of the product, and so it wasn't something that's been added on or built up over time. It's really the core of our solution. And so across the platform, marketing, sales, and service, you consistently have a process or processes that can move either leads or opportunities or client inquiries or customer management, customer service cases through a given process. We also offer out-of-the-box, pre-built best practice processes so that you don't have to start from scratch and build them. So the engine itself allows you to build a process from end to end or modify an existing process, and we're certainly going to show some of that today. The other thing is we do use BPMN 2.0 notation, which is a standard industry protocol. So the visual designer doesn't just allow you to draw a pretty picture, it actually creates an executable behind the scenes. There's also no limit to how many processes can be running at the same time. So if you have different processes for different product types or something, or geographies, or subsidiaries for that matter, they can all be triggered to go down different paths based on business rules that you set up. The other thing is we can evoke or initiate processes and actions outside of our system as well. So think the Internet of Things. Data that's coming machine to machine can be injected into our processes and either trigger the start of a process or define the path that the process goes down. So some pretty cool stuff, and we're going to focus on some of that, or see some of that, just the surface really today.
Very cool. And that is a completely different notion, that the whole product is based off of BPM. I think you guys are way ahead of the curve on that. So that's an interesting difference. So here is the BPM Interface, the Business Process Manager, process author here in Salesforce. And then we've got it here in Bpm'online. So again, Alex and Amelia are going to take us through the differences. So it is that time. Alex is going to go first with Bpm'online.
Thank you, Sonia. I'm really excited to show Business Process Engine of Bpm'online in action. So as Sonia mentioned, we're first going to have a look at the backend of the processes in Bpm'online, and this is the diagram of a simple process that we've designed for this webinar today, right? So we're having a look at really simple short sale process, and as Mike mentioned in the comparison of Bpm'online versus Salesforce, Bpm'online engine is actually a combination of both workflow and business rule management tools, which do allow you to call out third-party applications through their APIs and web services throughout the business process itself, right? And of course, we do not limit you on a number of processes that could be running, items they're using, and even if you want to use a process as a template for a sub-process call-out, right? All right, perfect. So what we're going to be looking at today would be, first of all, the fact that opportunity for a short sale is going to be created. And as you can see here, we're going to be limiting the start signal by a specific category of the opportunity, which means that we can actually have multiple processes standing in the system and react on different types and categories of records created. Then we're going to move forward, scheduling the demo with the clients, and from here, taking one of the following workflows. The first one, not interested, will bring us to closing the opportunity as a lost one, restricting the access and out of the process, or we would follow the next flow, which would be preparing the proposal for the customer, right? And then following up with the call to check if that proposal needs modification. So this is where we can actually have, again, one of the two following ways. We can either circle back to proposal preparation if it requires modifications, or following the happy path, move to the order, change and update opportunity details automatically through system actions, and then again closing the access to that opportunity and leaving the business process. So within this simple business process, we can actually address three main pain points of businesses that they currently have with the CRM tool. For the new users, we will help them to adapt the system and to follow business rules and regulations of the company according to the steps that they should take by simply bringing them to those steps. For more experienced users, we'll just help them scheduling the tasks and steps that they should make, and those, so making sure that the opportunities that they're working on are actually on track and none of those are left out of their pipeline. And of course, the third pain point is eliminating unnecessary data update and entry by allowing the system doing that automatically, again, based on those business rules. So let's now have a look at the process in action. First of all, we're going to start by creating a new opportunity just as a user would do. And let's just call it a short sale. We're still choosing one of the company records that we have in the database and specifying the customer need. as a user would do, I would specify the budget of the opportunity and the opportunity amount, the probability that in this case will be 10%, and the category. As we know, we need to specify the small business so that the process is actually initiated. Now, as a sales manager, I also say that I'm quite confident that this opportunity is going to be successful. When saving the step, the system will automatically bring me to the first step that we've seen in the diagram, which will be actually scheduling the demo with the client. Right? It is a meeting activity, and I only have 2 options to go as a completion of this meeting. Not interested to close the deal, close the sale, or prepare a proposal, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if a new user would be having this activity, this task, he would also notice that it is linked automatically to the company record and the opportunity record, so we're tracking the history of communication with the company and within that opportunity. And even if he was not sure what exactly is required, our information bubbles that we provide within the process will help them be on track on what exactly is required from them. So saving this step and moving forward, which will be actually completing the paperwork and preparing the proposal and sending it to the customer. When the proposal is ready, the system again brings them to the next step of scheduling a call for Friday, right, in 2 days from now on, because this is the best time to follow up on whether the proposal requires modification or we proceed to the order. As a user, if we do proceed, this is the last step that is actually required from us on this step and this business process. But if we have a look at our short sale opportunity, we'll see that our process engine has actually updated this stage to closed won, the probability to 100%, and the closed on date to current date, because we have set up those business roles. Now, back to the diagram. If, let's say we wanted to modify this process a little bit and add an extra step, for example, for a manager to provide an approval on the proposal that we're creating. The only thing that we need to do is just to take one of the items that we have on our items library, for example, the task record, adding it to the diagram, and fill in the values. First of all, the caption for the diagram itself, the title, so the subject of the activity, and the information on step or our information bubble. Then we're just going to say that the owner of this record, of this task, will be one of our sales managers. Caleb Jones. So we're saving this value. And the only thing that we need to do is as well link this step to the opportunity. Simply apply all of the steps, all of the changes. Say that we will move forward when the activity is completed. And now our diagram is updated. Simply publish the changes that we've made, and the new business process is going to be ready for action. So as you can see, Bpm'online allows you to change the processes in the CRM faster than ever. Sonia, back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alex. Very good. So Emilio, making you presenter, face off here.
All right.
And Emilio is going to go through an extremely similar process in Salesforce. So thank you, Emilio.
Thank you very much. And so I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can see my screen. So we're going to start off, just as Alex did. Thank you, Alex, for your demo there. We're actually going to open up our process in Salesforce and walk you through an example where we can be able to trigger a process that walks users through a creation of an opportunity, schedules a demo, and from that allows an opportunity to be promoted. So in this particular case, we're going to open up each of the steps. The first step is going to present us with a form, allows us to capture information about our opportunity, our amounts, close date, account name, what type of opportunity we are entering, and if we'd like to schedule a demo with yes or no options. Next step, it'll do a lookup on the account name that we've provided to find the account in Salesforce and link it to that opportunity. Then we'll actually create a new opportunity in Salesforce. And as we can see, we can map all that information from our form directly into our opportunity record. Then we're faced with a decision. Well, if a user chooses yes for scheduling the demo, we want to push them on to the next step, which is to actually fill out the form for scheduling the demo. If no, we'll just pass them down to posting that new opportunity to Chatter. So if we go to the next step here, which is scheduling that demo, we'll have a new form for the subject, start date, end date, and your demo notes. We'll create that new event, map everything in, including our opportunity ID so that they stay together. And because we are scheduling a demo for this opportunity, we want to make sure to promote our sales stage to perception analysis, because now at that point, we've had a demo, we've had a little bit more conversation with this opportunity. We might want to advance our sales stage to a step where it might be more likely to close since we've had that demo. And then when we're done, we will post to Chatter as well. So let's actually walk through this step, this process in Salesforce. Let's go to the top. We're going to go through our Create New Opportunity flow. And we'll zoom this in just a little bit more so you can see what we have. And we'll fill out our opportunity. Put in our dollar amount, a close date towards the end of the month, put in our account name. We'll keep our type as existing customer, upgrade, and if we'd like to schedule a demo, we choose yes. So as you can see, the user can't get lost in this process because we're taking them to the next step. So now, because we want to schedule a demo, let's put in information about that demo, what our subject would be. We'll have that planned towards the end of the week. We'll start today. And when we're done, simply choose Next. So now that we're done, we'll actually go back to our opportunities list. You can actually see that the new opportunity we just created now shows up in our list. What you'll notice is that because we did schedule that demo, our sales stage is perception analysis. We also can see that we've got our event here at the bottom for our demo that we've scheduled for the end of this week. Now, one thing you'll also notice, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, was a situation where we have immediate workflows, things that can be triggered immediately in the system. So one thing that you'll also notice is that another event was created in the system. This actually was based upon the detail that we included where when we created our new opportunity, we had our type as existing customer, upgrade. Now this was actually triggered using Process Builder in Salesforce. So let's take a look at how we can trigger a process based upon a value inside of opportunities. So we'll go up to Setup. Then search for Process Builder. And we're going to look at opportunities new and existing. And in this process, what we do is we're going to look at, for every opportunity, I want to evaluate the value that's saved under the opportunity type. So here we have our first condition, where an opportunity is equal to existing customer / upgrade. What do we want to do? We have an immediate action, which is to create a new event. We give it schedule our dates in, 5 days from today for our end date, today now as our start time. And then we have discover number of increased seats for that particular case if it is an existing customer. Now, we also have, if it's not existing customer, but say it's a new customer under our opportunity type, there we have another action where we might want to do the same thing where we create an event, but maybe instead our subject would be find decision maker in that particular case. Now, say you see this particular process and you want to be able to modify this. You can actually go to the top, choose Clone. What Salesforce does, it creates versions of your flows. So you can keep all of the work you've done before, just captures all of that information and lets you create a new clone of it and continue adding on additional processes and conditions. We'll save this. And now that puts our process in edit mode where we can go in and now add a new criteria for our next set of conditions. And as you can see, everything is fully capable of allowing an admin to make changes to a process where before they might have had to code it. We now have an interface where you don't have to touch any code at all to make really simple processes and complex processes work within Salesforce.
We'll definitely go over the total cost of ownership. Charles just asked a question on those too. So we just have a few more slides to go through here, including the pricing, and then we're going to do some QA. And I know, again, that some of you had some questions that we haven't answered yet, so we'll hit those. So why Salesforce? Well, it's the most well-known CRM vendor out there. They had a Super Bowl commercial a couple of years ago, which was funny, and the App Exchange. So there's a real large environment for Salesforce, which is useful. So if you want to integrate something, their chances are that there's been an integration completed sometimes that you can harness. Why Bpm'online? You've got that single platform. So Mike, walk us through this and some of the real points where you guys shine.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of alluded to them already, but the main differentiators, I guess, is the fact that the BPM engine is part and parcel of the whole solution. It's not an add-on. It's not an additional fee, cost, or anything, regardless of the license level you have. And the fact that marketing, sales, and services are all on a single platform. Also, we're going to talk about, probably the most cost-effective, fully featured product out there. And again, the on-premise capability is a strange differentiator these days.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And the price is going to be huge. So let's go into that. So we've laid out a pricing estimate here for a B2B company, 100 seats, and you see the breakdown here. So we have 10 marketing people, 60 sales reps, 30 service agents, and this is for an annual subscription. We didn't get into on-prem pricing. We probably would have done that a few years ago, but we can see. So if anyone's interested, you could just put a chat message in the questions box, and we can talk to you about on-prem as well. It's really affordable the longer, obviously, that you're on the platform. So that's an interesting thing to look at. So here we are. Marketing. So what we've done here is the first number, that one user, is the per user price, obviously, and then our extended price. So for BPM, we're talking about $320 per marketing user. And as you add contacts, so that's how all these automation systems are based. They're based on active contacts usually not on the amount of emails you send, but on the number of active contacts that you're marketing to. So we've done the same thing parallel here between Bpm'online marketing and Pardot. And this is our annual cost breakdown here, 38 and 66. Now, we're comparing apples to apples. I just want to say one obvious thing about Salesforce is that we're looking at the Enterprise Edition, which is $125 a user a month, and that's when you get workflow, period. So you get workflow at the Enterprise Edition. We've compared it with the Enterprise Edition of Bpm'online, which is a lot less expensive. So that's our extended cost here. And then we've gone into our service desk as well, and you see the cost breakdown at the bottom is quite significant. So if there are any questions about this, please feel free to put them into the questions box, because our next slide is QA. So I'll leave this up while we do some QA, and all of our amazing presenters, I'll probably have some questions for you. So starting from the first one that we didn't answer from Sherry is, for Bpm'online, do the new versions work between the online and on-prem version? Oh, and now that I'm reading that again, Sherry, I'm understanding that the question, you can't have both deployments, right? Is that right, Mike?
I suppose you could, but it's probably unusual. I mean, you may use the on-prem for maybe a central location, and if you have virtual users across the globe, maybe they use maybe a lighter version across the cloud, though all the same capabilities there. But that would be unusual.
Okay. And also, if I'm not understanding that correctly, Sherry, then there are no differences, just in general, so taking that question in a different light. Mike, it's true that there are no differences between on-prem and cloud versions of the product, right? They're the same.
Right, same code stream.
Okay.
I guess the one thing would be, as we all know, within the cloud, the updates kind of happen automatically.
Right.
For us, it's on a quarterly basis. And on-prem, you probably wouldn't want to upgrade every single quarter, so people generally hold off for more of an annual update to the version. But yes, the same code stream and capabilities are available on both.
Let's see. We've got some more questions. Oh, great. Sherry, thank you for clarifying your question. Does BPM release new versions in the cloud versus on-prem? And no, you have the same release schedule that can be applied to your on-prem version, right?
Yeah. So the same release schedule. It's just a matter of, internally, does the customer want to upgrade an on-premise system on a quarterly basis, whereas on the cloud it happens automatically.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry. Fantastic. And it doesn't cost extra to upgrade, or because you push those in your cloud environment for no cost, and it's part of your subscription fee, right?
Correct.
Great. Robert asked, does Bpm'online have a customer or partner portal? Do you have that functionality?
So it's a question of our own, partners for Bpm'online, or the ability to have a partner portal for a client of ours.
A partner portal for a client, yeah.
So the answer is yes and yes. We have a partner portal where we have all the assets available to our partners, and
Great.
The system itself offers, free of charge actually, a portal that can be used either for virtual users, or a lot of people use it for their partner environment, or it could be for suppliers or something other. Bottom line, you get to configure the portal and release whatever functionality and data you want across that. They're also not counted as actual users, so licensing is different.
Okay, that's a big thing. That's great. So you don't have to pay for your portal users at all?
Generally speaking, no. They're
Wow.
not counted necessarily as users unless they're involved in a workflow or accessing particular data. But generally, if it's, for instance, our partner portal where we're just exposing assets to our partners, no.
Great. Okay. Are you guys in the healthcare space at all, Mike?
We are. I wouldn't, so internationally, probably more so than the U.S. We've certainly been in discussions here in the U.S. with a couple and dealing with HIPAA compliance and all that. So yes, we are.
Okay, fantastic. Salesforce has a performance edition that combines Sales and Service Cloud. And yes, so that's true. You can kind of bundle them. So does Bpm'online have a similar combine all-in-one solution where you can have all the three different areas that we looked at?
Oh, absolutely. So, as I said, the product is one and the same altogether. It's just a matter of how you license it. And we have bundled pricing either for each individual one or any combination of the two or all three.
Great. Okay. What kind of language packs do you guys have? That's a question here that we've gotten. So what languages can you use in Bpm'online, or what does it display in?
I'm sorry, somebody's just filling me in. So generally French, Spanish, Hebrew, actually, obviously English and Russian. We have quite a few partners who are actually translating the platform into other languages, and it is all architected to make that straightforward. So the language, the strings are all contained in library files.
Great. Is German on the roadmap?
Yes, absolutely. We actually have some German clients. I believe they're generally using it in English at this point.
Okay. Okay, great. Let's see here, going down the list. Are the functionalities, features, one-to-one from Bpm'online Sales to Salesforce Sales Cloud. And so Shannon asked that, so is it truly apples to apples? Yeah, I mean, Emilio, you know both products pretty well. Are there, like, what are the glaring differences in the sales parts of these two products, if any?
Yeah, out of the two, you're really only going to see differences at how the data is captured between each one. In terms of being able to capture, of course, your accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, even quoting or ordering type of information, both systems will capture them. It's just how the forms may be set up and the type of data points that are set up between each one may be the major differences. But in terms of functionality on the CRM side, they are comparable.
Great. Okay. And I do know that BPM has some pretty cool out-of-the-box things that would require add-ons for Salesforce. So there's like a built-in phone application where it can do call tracking, and then also mapping. There's a really cool field service integration where you're on your iPad and you can kind of route where you're going to go next for your visits. So those are some things that I've seen in BPM demos that you can do in Salesforce. They're just going to require an add-on from that huge partner community. So that's
right.
Those are some of the things too that you're going to find that BPM's actually built into the product, which is pretty cool for no extra fee too. They don't charge you for that stuff.
Right. Now, there is one thing to note is for Salesforce and with Lightning and this big push for the new user interface, there are a lot of apps on the App Exchange that actually will have a whole host of different functions you can add in to Salesforce through the App Exchange, like mapping type applications, other ones that actually will manage your pipeline a little bit more effectively, or actually free add-ons you can find on the App Exchange for the Lightning mode.
Gotcha. Cool. Do developers need to rebuild all of their apps for the Lightning version, or is that just kind of transparent?
Actually, there are some changes developers would need to make. What Salesforce did is they did release a set of code you can add to it. So developers, including myself, will have to customize our code for the Lightning release, but they're backwards compatible. So you can flip back and forth between Salesforce Lightning and Classic, and the application will still work. You just have to add in the new tags for Aura.
Neat. Okay, great. That phone integration that we were talking about, and Mike, this is probably a question for you. Does the company have to be on voice over IP?
No, they do not. So we can integrate with pretty much any type of phone system, and that gives you access through a communication panel directly on the screen. So click to dial, automatic capture within the opportunity or the contact, all that stuff. And also, we've added in. Actually, one of our partners developed Skype-like calls that we added in as a free enhancement as well. So within the system, free Skype-like calls, audio-video calls between users. Pretty cool.
Awesome. And Bpm'online has an API like Salesforce, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And it's documented. Great.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Let's see. I think we have a lot of questions. This is great. Let's see. And there was a question from Jose on, can you integrate your via IP to see who's calling and dial directly from BPM and log the calls to the company opportunities? Yes. Right, Mike? So his Avaya system. That's pretty much what the phone integration does. When someone calls, connects it with that contact and account, and you can notate the note from the call just on the screen while they call and click to dial. Okay, Bpm'online, what's the training developer kind of path like? So tell us about that. I know, so just I'm going to hit on the Salesforce side. There's a big world out there of Salesforce resources and free training, some not free. So tell us about the Bpm'online environment for training and resources for new clients.
Yeah, and Alex may be able to add to this, but we do have a standardized academy that offers classes. We also have that's online as well as in person. We also leverage a lot of our partners who do a good amount of our training for us. There's different training tracks depending on what type of developer they're looking to to bring up to speed?
Mike, I think you killed it with that answer.
Yeah, great.
Totally covered it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And let's see, another good one along those lines. What's the coding language of Bpm'online? So on the Salesforce side, it's Apex. What is it on the BPM side?
Yeah, Alex, I guess.
Well, it's the backbone of it is Microsoft.NET. It's on the front end is JavaScript. This is what makes it run so smooth and fast. And also some of the backends of the application are C# server-based scripts. So the combination of those give you Bpm'online perfect kind of operation.
Great. Okay. And on the accounting side, so again, we were talking about that Salesforce ecosystem, and the App Exchange has some pre-built connectors to things like QuickBooks and some other popular accounting systems like Xero. What kind of accounting integrations does Bpm'online have?
Yeah, so I know we integrate with QuickBooks and Xero. We've done some with, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name.
Other legacy systems, basically,
other
for
legacy
accounting.
systems. Yeah.
Okay, great. And let's see. We didn't even talk about mobile. So Salesforce has a very strong mobile capability, and that extends on iPhones, Androids, whatever, tablets, and it's free. So tell us about the Bpm'online apps.
Yeah, so actually I think we can compete with that quite nicely. We actually also support Windows, which very few people support, but Windows phones. Android, iPhones, and Windows. We've actually just enhanced our mobile app. Basically, it's totally configurable. There's a mobile app wizard or a mobile wizard that allows you to configure what information gets exposed to that application, and you can set that by role. So, to your point about the field sales guys, they can have a very different view than your service sales guys or service engineers. And so by role, as many different flavors as you want, you can change the app. And it's free of charge, actually.
Great. That's awesome.
The other thing one other thing about our mobile, which is very key, is that you can actually use it offline. So if you're a field service and you're out of coverage on using a tablet, it actually will cache a certain set of the database. You can use it, and then when you get back in range, it's going to synchronize. A lot of applications don't allow that.
Great. All right. So does Bpm'online have the ability to create custom objects and custom fields, et cetera, like Salesforce does?
Yes, I would like to answer that. Actually, we do, and we don't give you any limitations on the custom objects or fields that you could add to the application.
Great. That's great. This is a sore spot for a lot of technology people that aren't Salesforce. They have an exclusive integration deal with LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has kind of held their API hostage from everyone. So what is the roadmap of Bpm'online and social media channels, not just LinkedIn, but how do you guys integrate to other platforms such as Facebook and all the popular ones?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is definitely an issue for all of us. We do have automatic integration with Facebook, Google+, and some others that allow you to basically bring up a contact and automatically enrich it. So if all I have is their name and their state, maybe, I can then click a button that will search social media and bring back applicable profiles, and then allow you to click a button that automatically enriches. There's also some services out there like Full Contact that claim to be mining LinkedIn data and pulling it all together.
Great.
And Sonia, I would also like to add that our service tool and probably part of our platform soon will be kind of a brand watch functionality from Facebook, where you can actually make sure that any reviews on the company are mentioned also in the system, and you could react on those reviews.
So listening.
Yeah, brand watch.
Awesome. Social listening. Excellent. Any pre-built integration with AX Dynamics. I don't even know if there's one with Salesforce. There could be. Have you guys worked with that accounting package?
I don't believe so, but generally speaking, we've done a lot of times these legacy systems, people have configured them so heavily that you end up doing a fairly heavily configured integration, right. And that's pretty straightforward for us, and generally is not a significant cost.
Great. All right, we've just got a couple more questions here. Reporting features, tell us about those. So they're included in that for Sales Cloud, that $125 per user per month price. You get a full reporting suite. Bpm'online, how does the reporting suite compare, and is it included in that per user price of $45?
Sure, yes. Actually, we truly believe in visualizing data, and so we're big on creating dashboards and allowing certainly at the corporate level, creating standard dashboards, but also the individual users can create dashboards. They have access to any data point within the system. And then from that, they can build reports as well, so kind of standard table-driven reports that can get kicked out to either PDF or Excel or whatever system you'd like.
Great. And let's see, how does Bpm'online integrate with other Microsoft products like SharePoint and Outlook?
Well, for the Outlook, we actually have an out-of-the-box integration with Microsoft Exchange mail server, right, and actually with other mail servers as well. And for the access, we could actually, this is one of the custom integrations that we built for some of our customers. So we are ready to be integrated with it.
So two-way synchronization for email as well as calendar events. So when you're working within the system and you send an email to a particular contact, it will automatically register, let's say, in Outlook. Likewise, if they return to that Outlook email, our system is listening to that and will add that to the record automatically. When you register tasks, calls, whatever, within your, one thing we didn't show is there's an online or in-system calendar that can synchronize with, for either Gmail or Outlook as well. Two ways.
Great. And so, yeah, you said Gmail, so Gcal and Gmail, so it's picking up on your Google Calendar, obviously, just like the Outlook one?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, great.
You can actually do it with multiple calendars as well.
Oh, excellent. Okay. IBM Notes, I don't know about that. Do you guys integrate? Oh, Lotus Notes, that's right. Do you have an integration with Lotus?
Yep, we do have some clients that are using Lotus Notes, and we have integrated with them. It's fairly custom because if anybody's used Notes over the years, those have gotten highly configured.
Yes.
I definitely have done that in the past and can do it in the future.
Great. And then Robert Johnson asks, is the interface with QuickBooks that is provided by BPM a third-party tool, or or is it built with something like Zapier? It's something that you guys built, right?
Yeah, no, it's totally our own native integration. So no third party and not necessarily any additional cost.
Okay, great. And this is a good question. What can Bpm'online do that Salesforce cannot do, and vice versa? That's a big
wow,
question.
That's a loaded question.
Very loaded.
How much time do we have?
I know. We have like 3 minutes.
I would say one thing that it does that generally speaking Salesforce can't do is contain that, I hate to use a cliche of 360-degree view of the customer, but the point is from, leads to loyalty, from being a lead all the way to being an opportunity and a prospect to being sold, that's a single contact record, and it doesn't get transferred from one database to the other and change schemas. So we'd like to say, we keep the integrity of the contact information through the entire customer journey, again, using a cliche there. And I don't see how Salesforce, where we're bouncing from one application to the other, can say that.
And adding from my side, I'd say that, well, of course, the BPM engine that combines the multiple tools that Salesforce has as separate tools, right? We've got it in one designer. And again, extending to what Mike mentioned, BPM is a single ecosystem for all of the company activities, starting from marketing, sales, and service. One link, one entry point for all of the purposes.
Great. And are both of the APIs RESTful? Amelia, was it a REST API in Salesforce?
It's REST API in Salesforce, I believe. BPM is OData, authentication layer with REST, correct?
Amelia, actually, we do support OData protocol, which is RESTful based, but we as well support the RESTful API as well as SOAP Lab Services. So all of those.
Great.
Now,
yeah, anything else to add to that?
one thing that I do know, and I'm not certain on the Bpm'online side, with the bulk API, that's one component I know Salesforce has to be able to transfer large amounts of data into the application, especially when you're doing a transfer in. And on the analytics side, I think there are some advantages there that might be on the analytics engine within Salesforce that I know Bpm'online can definitely do in some cases, but I think there's some advantages there on the reporting side.
All right. As far as competition goes with Bpm'online, are you guys seeing Salesforce being the main competition, or are there other systems out there that you're seeing come up besides Salesforce?
Yeah, well, as we all know, there's probably close to 100 quote-unquote CRMs out there, and there are certainly some industry-specific ones. Certainly, Salesforce is the 800-pound gorilla, I guess you'd say, followed by maybe Microsoft and maybe Sugar occasionally. But then if you get into an SAP shop, you're going to run into SAP. If you're in an Oracle shop, you're going to run into Oracle. I mean, so we see a lot of them out there. But certainly, if you ask the feet on the street, what are the top 3 CRMs, Salesforce is going to come in there, and we're pushing to be put in there as well.
Great. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for today, and we have a lot of questions, and we will definitely reach out to everyone that we didn't get your questions answered or your question beckoned a phone call. We will absolutely follow up with you. I want to thank the presenters today, Mike, Alex, Emilio. Thank you so much for your time. This was very good and useful, and again, we'll be following up. If you guys have any questions before then, you've got probably a million emails from Jordan here in marketing or the BPM team. Please feel free to reach out to us. braincell.net is our website, and we really look forward to hearing from you. You can see right here, we've got Jordan's direct info if you want to jot that down. And again, we will probably be reaching out to a lot of you. So thank you very much for your time. And Emilio, Mike, Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Very encouraging.
Bye, everyone.